Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
Just out of curiosity, how do you Soviets deal with all the tension and stress? Vodka.
In this country, we try to protect the rights of individuals. You can't even touch his ass.
I do not want to touch his ass. I want to make him talk.
Where is Victor?
I give up. This whole thing's very Russian.
A Russian cop, Ivan Danko, is sent to Chicago to extradite a Russian drug dealer, Victor, who is wanted for murder back in the USSR. Danko is ambushed, Victor escapes, and a veteran police officer is killed in the process. The murdered officer's partner, Ridzik, like Danko, now has a personal vendetta against Victor. Ridzik joins forces with the Soviet cop to hunt down the escapee and his associates. Directed by Walter Hill, one of the manliest directors of all time, in possibly the most manly decade for filmmaking in history, you know this film has more testosterone than a female Russian shot putter from the Cold War period. I highly recommend The Warriors, 48 Hours, Southern Comfort. Hill is one of my all-time favourite directors.
I'm not a polemicist, I'm trying to be a storyteller.
Hill wrote the story. The screenplay was written in collaboration with Troy Kennedy Martin and Harry Kleiner. These three, between them, have written some of the greatest screenplays ever. The Italian Job, Kelly's Heroes, Fantastic Voyage, Bullet, Alien, and Aliens. James Horner, who is most famous for his collaborations with James Cameron, does a great job here. He's the consummate professional and has a fantastic back catalogue. His unfortunate early death is a loss to music and movies. Back in the 80s, actors could still have conservative views publicly. In fact, Schwarzenegger was a Republican governor back in 2003. He even served his full term. Arnie leans a little too much to the rhino side of the party for my taste, but Hollywood Republicans are a strange breed. You have to love the guy though. The film also stars the likeable James Belushi, Peter Boyle, a great performance from Meadow Ross, Lawrence Fishburne, and despite what Belushi thinks, a very attractive Gina Gershon. This is not a top-tier film for Walter Hill or Arnie, but it's still way more entertaining than what Hollywood is churning out today. It's over the top in the way only 80s movies could. Arnie's wooden acting fits perfectly in the setting, and I have a weakness for fish-out-of-water body cop movie romps. There's some great one-liners, and Belushi and Schwarzenegger have a good chemistry. This one we can put in the category of underrated. The American-Russian dynamic is still just as relevant today. Former US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger advised Donald Trump to bring the United States and Russia closer together to offset China's military buildup. Kissinger is famous for his triangular diplomacy idea. The idea is for America to maintain closer relations with China and Russia, more than they have with each other. Due to the Russia collusion hoax perpetrated by the Democrats and key figures in the security service, Trump was prevented from having a good working relationship with Russia. He was accused of being a Russian asset or Putin's puppet. Which country benefits most from this wedge placed between Washington and Moscow? There are many examples of Democrats and Rhino Republicans with connections to China, but the worst, in my opinion, is Democrat Rep. Eric Swalwell, who sits on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence with access to the nation's top secrets. He pushed the Russia hoax more than any other politician. Swalwell was reported as cultivating a close relationship with a Chinese spy. The since-vanished Chinese national, Fang Fang, was tasked with developing intimate relationships with US politicians to gain proximity to political power. Democrats came to Swalwell's defense, and he remains on the Intelligence Committee today. A senior staffer on Capitol Hill described the level of concern related to Chinese influence infiltrating the Democrat Party is at an 8.5 on a scale of 1 to 10.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
This is not a classic movie, but it is as manly as it gets, so you have to give it a 5.
The probe is a disaster for our country. I think it's kept us apart. It's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it.
He defends the interests of the United States of America, and I do defend the interests of the Russian Federation. We should be guided by facts.